10 signs you both are afraid to love each other, but already do. Psychology tricks. Love is a force more formidable than any other. It is invisible, it cannot be seen or touched, yet it is powerful enough to transform the heart. Barbara de Angelis. You share a smile and they return it. But then an unspoken tension hangs in the air as you both look away, as if love has become too weighty to bear. It's an odd feeling, isn't it? That magnetic pull between you two, both felt but not acknowledged. The quiet connection is there, unspoken. Yet, neither of you dares to put a name to it. This is a familiar scenario I've observed countless times in my study of love and human behavior. Two people who already care deeply, whose actions speak louder than words, yet remain paralyzed by fear. Fear of vulnerability. Fear of what loving might mean. In this video, I will reveal 10 powerful signs that you both are too afraid to love each other. Yet, deep down, that love is already there, quietly thriving. As you listen, you might recognize your own story in these signs, hidden beneath the surface of your own experience. Sign 1. You both make plans, then cancel them, but never let go of the conversation. Have you ever set a plan with someone only for them to cancel at the last minute? Maybe it was a simple coffee date, but then, just as quickly as they backed out, the messages started flowing. Something came up, maybe another time. At first glance, this might feel like rejection. But don't be fooled, this is just the beginning of a deeper, more complicated interaction. Here's where psychology tricks can give you insight. This pattern of behavior is known as the approach avoidance cycle. It's a dance of desire and fear where both of you long for connection, yet hesitate to fully embrace it. You want to get closer, but love feels risky, vulnerable. So you pull back, creating space, but your heart still yearns for more. The conversation doesn't end there, though. It continues, perhaps even intensifies. They might ask how your day was or share a funny meme to make you smile. This is no longer just idle chatter. It's their way of staying connected without getting too close too soon. The key here is that they aren't avoiding you. They're avoiding the vulnerability of face-to-face interaction. What they're really doing is protecting their heart, not pushing you away. It's a strange contradiction. They fear being too open, yet they're still reaching out. This cycle of hesitation hides the truth that they care deeply. This is the hidden sign. They're not ignoring you. They're guarding their emotions while the desire to be close grows stronger with each interaction. In female psychology, this back and forth is a common reaction when emotions are involved, but the fear of getting hurt keeps them from fully surrendering to it. It's an intricate play of avoidance that's actually a deep longing. The fear of rejection, of getting too emotionally exposed, often keeps them from taking the next step. So, don't take their cancellations personally. Instead, see it for what it is, a sign of emotional investment wrapped in fear. If it were truly about disinterest, the conversation would stop entirely. But instead, the communication keeps flowing, albeit at a safe distance. This proves that what they feel for you is far from casual. It's just wrapped in hesitation and uncertainty. Understanding this pattern gives you insight into how to navigate the dynamics of love and connection. It's about recognizing the signals, understanding the fear, and realizing that love is often a series of small steps, each one taken with care and caution. If you're caught in a similar situation, remember, this is not rejection. It's someone who is afraid of how deeply they feel. And as tempting as it is to pull away or get frustrated, patience and understanding will lead to a stronger bond. You're both playing a game of emotional tug-of-war. But if you wait it out, you'll find that the reward, genuine, raw, and vulnerable connection, is worth every second of hesitation. Sign 2. Nervous teasing that hides tenderness. Think about the little jokes they throw your way, those playful comments about how you take too long to order food or how you're always running late. On the surface, it seems harmless, maybe even a bit careless. But if you look closely, you'll notice something deeper. There's often a flicker of softness in their eyes, a subtle glance to see how you respond. Now, this isn't just playful banter, it's a deeper psychology at work. Humor, more often than not, acts as a shield. It's a clever defense mechanism that allows people to connect without fully exposing their heart. When someone teases you, they're opening a window to affection, but doing it under the guise of a joke. It's easier to say, "You're so forgetful," than it is to admit, "I pay attention to everything you do because you matter to me." This is where the real insight comes in. The giveaway is in the pause after the sharp joke, the sudden shift in tone, a fleeting moment of guilt. It's as though they're checking themselves, worried they've crossed a line. But make no mistake, this isn't cruelty. It's the fear of revealing too much. It's the fear of showing how much they care, hidden beneath that veil of humor. As a high value man, you recognize this subtle dynamic. You know that beneath the teasing lies a desire to connect. Women might use this playful method to gauge your reaction, to see if you're emotionally present and perceptive enough to notice the tenderness hidden in the cracks of their jokes. This is the kind of emotional intelligence that can attract women who are deeply in touch with their feelings, but struggle to express them openly. What does this mean for you? It means understanding that when someone teases, it's not about the joke itself. It's about testing the waters, seeking a safe space where they can reveal affection without risking rejection. The key here is to remain calm, grounded, and discerning. The next time you hear a teasing remark, don't just laugh it off. Instead, look for the emotion underneath. Notice the shift in tone and the hesitation. It's the hidden signal that they may be more vulnerable than they let on. If you want to attract women and truly connect, don't just respond with humor. Recognize the underlying emotional cues. As a man who exudes masculine energy, your ability to navigate these subtle signals shows confidence and emotional maturity. This is how you step into your power, by recognizing vulnerability when it's masked as humor and responding with compassion and strength. You must learn to read between the lines, to catch what's unspoken, and to affirm what's hidden. Because in those moments, when the nervous teasing fades, you'll find the tenderness that is often left unsaid. And that's where real connection begins. Sign 3. Big gestures followed by sudden distance. Picture this. One moment, they surprise you with your favorite coffee, no prompting needed. They show up, offering help with something difficult, maybe moving boxes, fixing a broken chair, or taking on a task that's been weighing you down. In that moment, their actions speak louder than words. They care. But then, almost overnight, things change. They become quieter, colder, almost like they regret the kindness they extended. This is what psychologists call intimacy ambivalence. You see, they genuinely want to give because love often reveals itself in actions. But once the act is completed, fear creeps in. They ask themselves, did I reveal too much? Did I make myself too vulnerable? This fear triggers a retreat. It's not that they no longer care, it's because the depth of their emotions has grown too overwhelming. They pull back not because the love has disappeared, but because it became too real, too raw. Take a moment to understand this cycle. Closeness is expressed through gestures, through action. Distance comes through silence, the retreat. If they didn't care, they wouldn't have made the effort in the first place. The distance they place between you isn't a signal of fading feelings. It's the sign of a struggle within themselves, a battle between their heart and their fear. This pattern is a clear indication that the feelings they have for you are already profound. The gift they give is a silent confession of their emotions, an offering that speaks to the love they feel, but are too afraid to fully acknowledge. The pullback? That's panic. It's their subconscious telling them to slow down, to protect themselves, to shield their heart from what's growing inside. In the world of Stoicism, we are taught to embrace vulnerability and to act despite fear. As the Old Stoic wisdom says, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Just like in Stoicism win, where strength lies not in avoiding the hard truths, but in facing them head-on, this ambivalence is the struggle between wanting connection and fearing the consequences of that very connection. The Stoics knew that mastering one's emotions, cultivating an iron mind, was key to living a fulfilled, peaceful life. Understand this, men. The distance you feel isn't a rejection. It's a sign that their heart has already chosen you, but their mind needs time to catch up. Fear of emotional vulnerability is natural, but don't let it dominate your behavior. Recognize this pattern in yourself and others. See the love hidden beneath the fear. And remember, True strength lies not in withdrawing, but in choosing to face your fears, to lean into the love that is already there. You must embrace your own vulnerability. This is how you build deeper connections, how you navigate love with clarity and strength. Your journey to mastering your emotional world, to developing an iron mind, begins with understanding the difference between fear and true desire. You can handle it. You were made for this. If this resonated with you, comment below and share it with someone who might be navigating the same emotional journey. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights into relationships and love. Comment to remember, I embrace love without fear. Sign 4. Intense eye contact followed by a sudden look away. This is one of the most telling signs of fear in love, something that happens when two people feel the weight of their emotions, but aren't quite ready to embrace them. Picture this. You're sitting across from each other, speaking casually, and then for a split second, the conversation pauses. The room falls silent, and their eyes lock with yours. It's not just a glance, it's intense, steady, and unblinking. In that brief moment, you both seem to be speaking without words. You can almost feel the unspoken connection between you, like a bridge made of trust and vulnerability. But just as quickly, the spell is broken. They look away. Perhaps they stare down at their drink, fiddle with their hands, or pretend to be interested in something else, anything to avoid the intensity of your gaze. Why does this happen? It's not a coincidence. It's a defense mechanism triggered by the power of eye contact. Psychology tricks tell us that prolonged eye contact triggers the release of oxytocin, the hormone associated with bonding and connection. Oxytocin fosters trust, closeness, and the sense of falling in love. And it's in those brief moments of connection that something profound happens between two people. Their hearts start to communicate in ways their minds haven't yet caught up with. But for someone who's afraid of love, that truth is overwhelming. The feeling of being exposed, of having their emotions laid bare, is terrifying. Eyes don't lie. In that moment, holding eye contact feels like an unspoken confession. I see you. I want you. I care for you. I love you. And for someone who's not ready to confront those feelings, this truth can be frightening. The result? A quick retreat. They look away to break the connection before it becomes too real. Yet, it's crucial to understand that this retreat doesn't mean they aren't interested. It's the opposite. The real sign is in the tension. They don't avoid your gaze entirely. No, they seek it out first. They look into your eyes, they hold the gaze for a second too long, and then, bam, they pull away. It's as though their heart is trying to step forward, to be vulnerable, but their mind is pulling it back, afraid of the depth of their feelings. That's why they look away. They're trying to create distance from what feels like an emotional avalanche, even though it's clear their heart is already committed to that connection. So, when you catch them looking at you, holding your gaze, and then suddenly retreating, don't take it personally. This is not disinterest. This is not them trying to push you away. It's the classic battle between the heart and the mind. The heart wants to embrace the moment, to surrender to love, but the mind is too afraid of what that means. The mind is telling them that love might be too much to handle, that they might get hurt, or that they're not ready for the vulnerability that comes with opening up. If you're noticing this pattern, where the gaze comes intense and deep, followed by a quick shift of focus, know this: they're not running from you. They're running from the power of their own emotions. They're running from the truth that they already love you, even if they can't admit it yet. The eye contact is the confession. The retreat is the fear of what that confession means. It's a clear signal that they're afraid of falling in love because they know deep down that the connection between you is already there. So, next time you share a moment like this, understand that it's not a rejection. It's a sign that love is already there, simmering beneath the surface, but fear is holding it back. They're not pushing you away. They're just struggling to step into the truth of their own feelings. And that in itself is a powerful and telling sign of the love that's already blossoming between you. Sign 5. Small acts of protection, but no labels. Watch closely. The moments are subtle, yet powerful. You're walking through a crowded space and notice them step slightly in front of you. They slow their pace, instinctively matching your stride. Maybe after a long night, they check if you got home safely. These small gestures might seem casual, like nothing more than kindness, but they speak louder than words. This is protection in its purest, unspoken form. These actions aren't random. Psychology calls this attachment in action, the behavior of someone who deeply cares, but is too afraid to voice it. When words like, I love you, are too heavy, these instinctual actions reveal what they're truly feeling. Protection is one of the most profound nonverbal ways of expressing affection. It's not just about ensuring your safety, it's about saying, you matter to me, without the risk of vulnerability. But here's where it gets interesting. After these protective moments, they often pull away. No labels, no commitment. They won't define the relationship. They won't give it a name. Why? Because naming it, claiming it, makes it real. And that's terrifying. The weight of a title brings with it a permanence that can be overwhelming. So, they give you the care, the protection, but without the declaration. It's a subtle dance, I care, but I'm not ready to be vulnerable. The truth? People don't protect what they don't value. If someone steps into the role of protector, even for a brief moment, it's not by accident. They are silently saying, I cherish you. They may never say it out loud, but their actions speak volumes. Love is trying to slip through the cracks of their fear. If you want to become the high-value man who attracts women with this type of deep emotional connection, remember this. It's not always the grand gestures that win hearts. It's the small, subtle moments that reveal the depth of care. The ability to be protective, to stand in front of her when the world feels too overwhelming, to match her pace, to ensure her safety, all without expecting anything in return. These are the traits that speak to her heart. In these moments, masculine energy is at its most powerful. It's not about showing off strength, it's about showing vulnerability through protective actions. This is what it means to be emotionally available, strong enough to care without needing constant validation. You must be the type of man who understands the importance of subtlety. It's easy to get caught up in flashy, dramatic displays of affection, but real connection comes from the quiet, everyday acts that build trust. When you show up in her life with no expectations, just care, you move beyond superficial attraction into a deeper, more meaningful connection. And if you're wondering if she feels it too, trust me, she does. Even if she doesn't say it out loud, she notices the effort. She feels your protection, your care, and it creates a bond that words could never fully express. You are stepping into the role of protector because you value her, not just in big moments, but in the small, everyday ones that often go unnoticed. So don't hesitate to be the high-value man who attracts women through actions rather than words. Be the protector, even when the world doesn't expect it. Show your care without expecting a title or label. Let your actions speak for themselves, and watch as the connection deepens in ways that go beyond the superficial. This is the power of subtle affection, and it's exactly what women are looking for in a man. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us. Or simply comment, very cool. It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. Sign 6. They remember the tiny details you barely notice yourself. You've probably spoken casually about your favorite snack from childhood or the song that always brings you peace. These seem like fleeting moments, right? You probably didn't think much of it when you mentioned it. But then, weeks later, they surprise you. That song starts playing in the car, and there, in the corner of your eye, is that snack you'd barely even thought about since childhood, placed carefully for you on a stressful day. You're caught off guard. How could they possibly remember that? This is no coincidence, my friend. This is selective attention, one of the strongest indicators of hidden affection. The human brain, as sophisticated as it is, filters through endless amounts of information every day. Yet, what we choose to remember speaks volumes about what we truly care about. And when someone recalls details you've long forgotten, it's a sign that you've taken root in their heart and mind, even if they don't speak it aloud. But here's where it gets deeper. People who fear love don't always express their emotions openly. They may not say, I remembered because I care. No, they're far more subtle. Their feelings come out through small actions, Little gestures that speak volumes without uttering a single word. The song, the snack, these are not random choices. They're the quiet language of love, a love they're afraid to claim outright. In the wisdom of the Stoics, we're reminded that we are what we repeatedly do. In this case, what someone repeatedly recalls and does, even in the smallest of ways, is a powerful indicator of their affection. These seemingly insignificant details matter because they show where someone's mind, heart, and attention truly lie. They're not just polite gestures, they're acts of emotional investment. If you're on the receiving end of these little surprises, don't overlook them. Don't mistake them for mere coincidence or courtesy. These actions are deliberate. They come from the heart, silently whispering what words can't say. In times of hesitation, the heart finds its way out through memory, through small gestures, through the quiet yet profound actions of someone who is scared to love but does so nonetheless. The Old Stoic wisdom teaches us that love is not just an emotion, but a series of actions, decisions, and commitments. Love doesn't just show up in grand declarations. It thrives in the details, the ones we don't think to mention, but are remembered with care. Remember, an iron mind knows that true affection is often shown in what is not said. This isn't about waiting for someone to confess their feelings in dramatic fashion. It's about noticing the subtle ways they express what they can't say outright. So, take a moment. Recognize those small actions that are woven into your daily life, those tiny things that reveal the depth of care hidden beneath their silence. If you are in this situation, don't hesitate to respond with open heart and courage. In love, you must lead with strength, but not with fear. The Stoic man does not shrink away from affection. He recognizes it and he acts on it, whether through words or through the quiet, powerful actions that say everything his heart wants to say. Embrace the wisdom of the Stoics. Love may be silent, but it speaks louder than words ever could. It's the courage to show you care without fear. And when you see it, respond. Do not wait for them to make the first move. Lead with your own quiet strength, your own iron mind, and your own heart. For this is the way of the Stoic man, resolute in his presence, unshaken by fear, and ever present in his love. Sign 7. Jealousy, followed by a quick apology. You've probably noticed it, the subtle shifts in their mood when you mention someone else. Maybe it's just a coworker's name that slips into the conversation, but their reaction? It's hard to miss. Their voice gets tense, a small comment slips out like, "Oh, so he's the funny one, huh?" At that moment, the jealousy is undeniable. For a brief instant, you see through the mask they've been wearing, their guard lowering just enough for you to glimpse the vulnerability underneath. But then, almost as quickly as it appeared, it's gone, masked with a laugh, a shrug, and that apologetic, "Sorry, I didn't mean that." Psychology tricks tell us jealousy isn't always about control or possessiveness. In fact, at its core, it's about fear. Fear of losing something irreplaceable. Fear of being abandoned. When someone's afraid to admit how deep their feelings run, jealousy is their subconscious way of revealing their attachment. But here's the catch: they don't want you to see it. They don't want to scare you away by showing just how much they care. So, they mask it quickly, apologizing and retreating into their comfortable silence. Why? Because love, raw and unspoken, is terrifying. It makes people vulnerable, and vulnerability is the very thing many are desperate to protect. They might fear that if they show too much of their feelings, it will push you away. So, they shrink back, hide their emotions behind a shield of casualness. But the truth is clear: the jealousy, followed by the apology, speaks volumes. Let's break it down. Jealousy doesn't show up for people we don't care about. It's not about controlling your relationships with others, nor is it about trying to restrict your freedom. No, it's much deeper than that. When someone's eyes darken at the mention of another's name, it's not random irritation. It's a clear sign that love is trying to break through their defenses, but fear rushes in to cover it up. This is the cycle. Jealousy flashes in their eyes, but before you can catch it, it's hidden behind a joke or a soft apology. It's not that they don't mean the apology. They do. But it's their fear of being exposed that drives them to cover it up quickly. Deep inside, they don't want to scare you off, but they're terrified of revealing just how much of a hold you have on their heart. You have become their weakness. So, here's the insight. Jealousy in relationships is a powerful clue, an indication of how strongly someone feels about you. They're not being possessive. They're afraid of losing something that matters more to them than they're willing to admit. And yet, despite the mask, their heart speaks louder than they realize. When jealousy surfaces, it's a sign of love fighting to be acknowledged, but wrapped in the armor of fear. If you want to see the depth of someone's feelings, pay attention to these little moments. That quick, almost unnoticeable jealousy, it's not a mere reaction to a name. It's the heart quietly revealing what words cannot. They care. They care more than they want to admit, and they're struggling with how much they're willing to show. Remember this: jealousy doesn't come out for people we don't care about. The next time you see that flash of jealousy followed by an apology, understand this. It's not about control. It's about the fear of letting you see just how deeply they've already fallen for you. The real psychology trick here? The more they try to hide it, the more they reveal. If you recognize the signs of fear and love colliding, it's time to take action. Don't let fear keep you from embracing what's real. If this spoke to your heart, comment below with, "Fear reveals love before it hides it." Share this with someone who needs to hear it, like, and subscribe for more insights that can transform your relationships. Sign 8. They share one vulnerable truth, then suddenly shut down. Have you ever had one of those conversations where everything feels perfectly normal, only for the other person to suddenly drop a bombshell of vulnerability? Maybe it's a hidden childhood memory, a fear they've kept buried, or a dream they never dared to share. It catches you off guard. For a fleeting moment, the walls around their heart come down, leaving you staring at something raw and real. But just as quickly as it appeared, it's gone. The subject changes. They laugh it off, as if nothing happened. This behavior is called selective vulnerability, and it's more common than you might think. What they're doing is giving you just a taste of their truth, a little glimpse into their inner world. But it's not a full reveal. They're testing you. They want to see how you handle their vulnerability. Will you hold it gently? Will you show them that you can be trusted with their most sensitive emotions? Here's the thing: vulnerability is not something that comes easily, especially to someone who's been hurt before. For them, love is not just an emotion, it's a risk. Revealing too much, too soon, feels like handing someone the power to break them. And that fear of getting hurt makes them retreat, even when their heart is calling for connection. So, if you notice this pattern, reveal, retreat, then pretend it never happened. It's not a lack of trust. It's the very beginning of trust, a cautious unfolding. They want you to see them, but only in glimpses. They'll give you a piece of their heart they think they can handle sharing. But don't be fooled. This is just the start of something deeper. As a high-value man, you need to understand the significance of these small moments. When they let their guard down, even for just a second, it's not an accident. Their heart already trusts you more than they're willing to admit. Your ability to handle their vulnerability with patience and understanding will go a long way in building a strong foundation for love. The test of strength. This moment is a test. It's a measure of your masculine energy and how well you can attract women, not by being flashy or aggressive, but by being strong enough to hold space for their emotions. Many men fail this test, not because they don't care, but because they don't understand the power of vulnerability. It's not about fixing what's broken or pushing for answers. It's about showing that you can stand firm, with confidence, and offer emotional safety. This is your chance to show that you can handle the weight of their truth. Be present. Be steady. Don't rush them. Don't make it awkward. Just listen. If you can demonstrate that you won't break them, that you can be trusted with their heart, you're one step closer to earning their full trust, understanding their retreat. Now, it's important not to take their retreat personally. The shift from openness to shutting down doesn't mean they're rejecting you. It's simply their way of saying, "I'm not ready yet." For some, love triggers deep-seated fears. It's a slow process, and they need time to heal those wounds before they can fully open up. So, if this happens with you, recognize the weight of the moment. You, as a high-value man, must understand that their retreat is not a reflection of your worth. Instead, It's an invitation to show them your strength, your understanding, and your patience. Trust is built over time. But the willingness to show vulnerability, even in pieces, is a sign that they're already letting you in. Embrace the journey. Attracting women isn't about trying to impress them with grand gestures. It's about being the kind of man who can hold space for their truth, no matter how messy or incomplete it may seem. By understanding their selective vulnerability, you show that you are someone they can rely on. You are someone they can trust, even when they don't fully trust themselves. This is the essence of masculine energy, standing firm in your own strength while allowing others to feel safe enough to share their deepest fears. This is the dance of love, a back and forth of reveal and retreat, trust and fear, vulnerability and strength. As you continue to show up in this way, you'll find that those glimpses of vulnerability will become more frequent, more open, until eventually they trust you with all of it. So, don't be discouraged if their heart isn't fully open right away. Be patient. Be understanding. Be the kind of man who attracts women not by force, but by the strength of your presence and the safety you create for them. And remember, vulnerability is never an accident. It's the beginning of something beautiful. Keep showing up. Sign 9. You both make tiny future plans, but never the big ones. Small promises are often more revealing than grand declarations. You might hear phrases like, "We should check out that new cafe next week," or "Let's watch that movie together when it comes out." These seem like minor, casual remarks, but underneath, they carry significant meaning. They are little glimpses into their heart, signs that they see you in their future, even if they don't yet have the courage to make bold moves. This behavior can be explained by a concept in psychology known as incremental commitment. When love feels like a risk, people often take baby steps to build the future, making small plans rather than grand ones. A lunch date here, a weekend getaway there. These are safer bets than saying, "I want you by my side for the long haul." And if you listen closely, you'll notice the silence. They will never say, "Let's move in together," or "Where do you see us in 5 years?" Not because they don't want those things, but because the thought of facing rejection is too much to bear. So instead, they settle for the small plans. They offer something manageable, something that doesn't require full commitment or the vulnerability of declaring forever. You must understand this. Those small plans are not insignificant. They are steps, tentative yet sincere, forward toward a deeper connection. In the language of Stoicism, it's akin to building resilience, step by step, with cautious patience. The Old Stoic wisdom teaches us that growth doesn't always come from grand, sweeping gestures, but from the consistency of small actions over time. And in love, these small gestures are like a slow burn, quiet, enduring, but ultimately powerful. This is where the power of Stoicism wins. It teaches us to find strength in the small, to act with intentionality even when the future is uncertain. Just as the Stoics developed the iron mind, unwavering in the face of hardship, so too does love require a steady heart that can navigate the uncertainty of not knowing what's next, but still choosing to move forward, one small step at a time. Now, let's be clear. When they talk about the small future plans, it's not a sign of weakness or avoidance. It's a reflection of vulnerability and a deeper fear of being rejected by the very person they care about. The courage to say, "I want you in my life forever," can seem daunting, but the willingness to say, "Let's go to that cafe next week," is, in its own way, just as meaningful. In relationships, just like in life, we often fear the unknown. We fear that putting it all on the line might lead to loss. But what if, just maybe, these small plans are not just about avoiding risk, they're about building something solid, something lasting. Each small plan is a little affirmation that they're not ready to let go. They're not ready to say forever, but their heart is already whispering it in every fleeting moment. And you must recognize that. When someone can envision the smallest moments with you, it means they're already imagining a future. Their heart is speaking a language they may not fully understand yet, but it's speaking to you. Your connection is written in pencil, not because it's uncertain, but because it's still taking shape. They're not ready to say forever, but with every shared plan, no matter how small, they are already picturing that forever with you. In the end, you must understand that the small things matter. They are not insignificant. They are the stepping stones towards something bigger. As the Stoics would say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Keep walking, one small plan at a time, and watch how the love grows stronger. Sign 10. They show up for you when it matters most. It's 2 hours a.m., and you're battling one of the hardest nights of your life. You never asked for help, yet somehow they appear. You barely even hinted at being overwhelmed, and there they are, quiet, supportive, and ready to lend a hand. No questions asked. In those heavy, defining moments, they don't hesitate. They step up, even when their own fears and doubts about love would normally hold them back. This is what psychologists call emotional reliability. When everything else fades away and the stakes are at their highest, the truth of someone's feelings isn't found in their words, but in their actions. What they do when the pressure is on speaks volumes, far louder than anything they could ever say. They may struggle with the idea of labeling feelings or shy away from romantic language, but when the moment is critical, they instinctively choose you without a second thought. This is the deepest, most profound sign of all because at its core, love isn't just about the sweet gestures, the comforting texts, or the small things like the coffee they bring you. No, love is defined by presence, the ability to be there when everything else crumbles. It's in the way they show up in your darkest hours, even when fear would rather keep them away. Think about it. If they continue to show up, time and time again, understand this truth, love has already overcome fear. Their presence is a confession, louder than any words they could ever muster. It's a psychology trick in action. They're revealing that, despite the silent battle with their emotions, despite the fear of vulnerability, their actions scream, I'm here. I care. And that's all that matters. So, the next time they stand beside you in the chaos, remember this. Female psychology often resists love out of fear, but their choice to remain present despite this fear, that's the real declaration of love. Love isn't always about grandiose expressions. Sometimes it's simply in the quiet moments when they choose to stay, when they choose you. If this resonates, understand that this is how to fall in love, not with what someone says, but with how they show up when the world is against you. True love reveals itself in those defining moments, the ones that matter most. So, when they appear in silence and support, know that love is already conquering the fear that once held them back. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped you recognize some of those hidden signs of love. Remember, love doesn't always shout from the rooftops. It whispers in the quiet moments, in the small gestures, and even in the fear we try to hide. If you've noticed these signs, don't brush them off. Your heart knows what it's feeling, even if you haven't said it out loud yet. My advice to you, take a moment to reflect on your own story. Which of these signs hit home for you? Don't be afraid to share it in the comments below. You never know, your words might just be the spark someone else needs to open up about their feelings. If you want more insights on psychology, love, and attraction, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Trust me, the smallest signs often lead to the biggest truths. Stay tuned for more, and remember, love is always more present than we think.